Longest play in Seattle Seahawks team history gives them the 7-0 lead. Koren Robinson signed in week 3. The receiving core has been depleted. His second tour of duty with Seattle on the receiving end, and did a great job running against a pretty good secondary after the catch. And it's 7-0 in favor of the Seahawks, and Olindo Mare will be kicking off again. Wyndon Demps from the goal line. He had a good return the last time out, but this time he is dropped at the 20 by Lance Laurie.
Well, how Seneca Wallace is going to handle the pressure take is going to determine what they do. Here's Stuart Bradley in the circle. He's going to come on the blitz, and he's pretty well picked up. Seneca Wallace doesn't flinch, little shoulder fake. How that shoulder fake threw Lito Shepherd off, fell to the ground, and then you need some help to go 90 yards. So Bobby Ingram's going to come here, knock Lito Shepherd off, block right there, and Koren Robinson did the rest. This is exactly the way Seattle, if they could have drawn it up on Friday, would like to have started this game. The crowd fully behind this team right now.
Deion Branch not playing, hasn't played since the first game. Nate Burleson's been out, but Koren Robinson got the big play. Meanwhile, first down at the 19 for Donovan McNabb. Play action, and McNabb backtracking and passing incomplete, and not even close as we send it down to Laura Okmin. Welcome, Laura.
Hello, guys. I'll be impressed if you can hear me, because it is crazy down here, and that's exactly what the Seahawks were hoping for. Just 2-5. The guys told us this week the only way to make some noise in this division just 2 games back is to literally make some noise. They were politicking fans in warm-up saying, Donovan McNabb's never played here. Let's show them how loud we are, and they are.
All right, Laura, and Mike Holmgren said, look, we're going to make it fun, let it all hang out, and that's what they did on the first play. And we'll see how the Eagles respond now. Second down and 10. McNabb with a short drop, gets hit, and the pass off the hands of Kevin Curtis will bring up third down and 10.
Well, McNabb has started this game, and he isn't sharp right now. He's throwing the behind receivers. He's bouncing it into the ground right now. He's on about his 3rd target there. Gets hit late by Julian Peterson, but that really didn't affect that throw. That throw was behind Curtis. And he has started off on games like this, started off last week, very similar like this. He's got to be able to find his rhythm.
Pressure again on 3rd and 10. And this pass incomplete again. Kevin Curtis and Marcus Trufant on the contact. So this Seahawk defense, revved up by the fans and the early score, to the dismay of Andy Reid, and 4th down, and the Eagles will have to kick from inside their 10.
That's not the guy I would go after on 3rd and 10, is Marcus Trufant. He's still a very good player, and that ball was well short of a first down, even if they did complete it.
Sav Rocca hunting for the second time. Justin Forsett at the 35. And Forsett returns it almost to midfield, where Chris Gocom makes the tackle. So the Seahawks have the lead, the ball, and good field position when we return in just a moment. And the Seahawks with the lead and the ball, and let's see what they can do with the backup quarterback leading the way, with Matt Hasselbeck out for the 4th game this year. So Seneca Wallace coming off a win against the 49ers, in which he threw 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and had a career high rating in just his 7th career start today. And a good start for the Seahawks at their own 49. Owen Schmidt is the fullback in place of Leonard Weaver, who is available. And Julius Jones is the tailback. They split them now. Wallace with the short drop and goes underneath to Julius Jones. And Jones picks up about 5 yards on first down. Let's take a look now at the Seahawks offense. And of course, Weaver not starting today, and he was a hero with 2 touchdowns last week, as Owen Schmidt will start. And Koren Robinson with the big touchdown reception, starting outside with Bobby Ingram.
And I think the offensive line did not play well in that big win against San Francisco last week. They've got to perform better.
2nd and 6, and the pass is batted in the air by Jaquay Parker. And right now, the Philadelphia Eagles defensive unit stunned a little bit. And there you see the 2 solid defensive tackles up front. And the secondary has been outstanding.
Well, they're going to get tested. I mean, you know, when you get stung on the first play, it makes you more and more alert. And so for them to go after Lito Shepherd the way they did, that was all game planning. They worked on that all day long. We watched them in practice on Friday.
Kerry Colbert, number 13, is the 3rd wide receiver for the Seahawks. And this pass is a slant, and the pass is ruled incomplete. Colbert, the intended receiver, and Asante Samuel all over him. So quickly, 4th down, despite the good field position by Seattle, and John Ryan will come in to kick.
And that Asante Samuel is some player in Philadelphia. He is a great route reader, and the play is never over for him until the whistle blows, because that was a catch by Carlson and then a strip and a finish by Samuel to get the ball out of his hands.
And he wasn't bad in New England either.
No, he won some world championships up there, and nobody's intercepted more passes in the league over the last 3 years.
Eagles coming in, attempting perhaps to block it, and the ball will go into the end zone for the touchback. And the Eagles will come out at the 20. A 47-yard punt that time by Ryan. 7-0 Seahawks.
Make no mistake about it, the leader of the Philadelphia Eagles is Brian Westbrook, and that was him rallying the troops after that last 3 and out by this offense. So this is a guy that is being paid like a superstar, that is playing like a superstar, and gets the respect around the league like he's a superstar. He's the best player on the field. If they're going to come out of this early funk, that's the guy that's going to do it.
1st down at the 20. And here's Brian Westbrook trying to go outside and dives forward for a minimal gain. Huge offensive line for the Philadelphia Eagles.
And not just because of their weight. It's almost as much because of their height, where Westbrook really hides behind him. You see Trey Thomas and Runyon both at 6'7". Todd Harriman's at 6'6", and their wingspan, Dick, if you just stretch them out from fingertip to fingertip.
By the way, the Seahawks have backups Red Bryant, Craig Terrell, and Baraka Atkins. The only starter on the defensive line, rookie Lawrence Jackson. 2nd down and 11. Hank Baskett going in motion. Play action for McNabb. And his pass knocked away and almost intercepted by Josh Wilson. The pass was short, and Kevin Curtis holding on to his left hand.
Nick, if you stretch the offensive line of the Eagles out fingertip to fingertip, all 5 of them, it would measure about the same size as that yellow school bus that used to pick you up in Philadelphia when you were a kid. They got their work cut out for him now. Another 3rd and long, and McNabb still has not been able to find any kind of a rhythm. 1 for 5 early in this game.
And you saw Kevin Curtis holding onto his left hand, and Reggie Brown, who was inactive the last 2 games, is in there, number 86, as one of the 3 or 4 wideouts. 3rd down. McNabb has the ball knocked away, and they're going to rule it an incomplete pass. Craig Terrell came in and knocked the ball away, got a piece of it, and so one of the backups on the Seahawk defensive line makes a big play here.
McNabb has been holding the ball a long time, and right there, Terrell gets to the shoulder of Donovan McNabb, who still is feeling the effects of a deep chest contusion. Been playing throughout a lot of pain, and that's not going to help the feeling that he's had in that area of his body.
Justin Forsett back deep. And Sam Rocca will punt for the 3rd time here in the 1st quarter. Forsett at the 31. Hemmed in. And down he goes. So there they are working on Kevin Curtis's hand. Left wrist will take a timeout. 7-0 Seattle lead. Back here in Seattle, and we even see some blue sky and sunshine. We have had everything today, and you never know what you will have in an area, the Pacific Northwest, known for rainy weather. Seahawks have a 1st down on the 34. Seneca Wallace already with a 90-yard touchdown pass to Corin Robinson. Hands off to Julius Jones, and nowhere to go as he tries to stretch it outside. And a loss on the play of 3. Take a look at the early finals, and Tennessee remains undefeated, beating Green Bay, and the Bears rally to beat the Lions. Tampa Bay defeats Kansas City 30-27. They were trailing. Arizona red hot, beating St. Louis in a game that they win on the road. They didn't go east, but they won it on the road. And there are some of the other finals, including the Vikings over the Houston Texans.
Bengals got a win.
Yes, they did, their first of the year. As Julius Jones picks up about a yard, and the early game leaders, 5-yard gain for Jones. Kurt Warner, boy, is he, when he's healthy, there's maybe no stopping him. And Adrian Peterson and Derek Mason.
Well, Kurt Warner will be up here against Seattle in 2 weeks. And right now in first place, Seattle trying to stay in the race here. Obviously an important game going on right now with the Eagles. And this is the first 3rd and long that Seattle's been faced with. It'll be interesting to see how Wallace handles that look right there from the Eagles.
Darren Howard, the defensive lineman, now playing on offense as Wallace completes the pass just shy of the first down. So Howard going in on the defensive tackle. Corin Robinson on the tackle on the play and gets 4 yards on the play, bringing up 4th down and 1.
Mike Holmgren doesn't like the spot. The body was across the line of scrimmage, the 44 for the first down, but the ball never went across the 44-yard line. Mike Holmgren standing right in front of the yard marker thought that that was a bad spot.
So John
and
Ryan
he's going to challenge him. I think Mike's going to challenge this spot. He wants to. He's got the red flag in his hand. Wants to throw it, waiting to see if somebody can get a better look at the spot, and he can't get it, I think, before the snap.
Deshaun Jackson is back deep for the Eagles, calling for the fair catch at about the 10-yard line. So a good punt that time by Ryan. Another 47-yarder. We'll be right back. Back here in Seattle, Dick Stockton, Brian Baldinger, and Laura Okmin. The Eagles will start from the 10. There you see some of the 12th men crew in the stands. Kevin Curtis, who was shaken up with the left hand injury, back in the lineup for the Eagles. And Donovan McNabb trapped back there and looking for a receiver and throws the ball away.
Nick, let's go back to the last 3rd down completion by Seattle that was short and forced to punt. Seneca Wallace gets the ball out to Corin Robinson. You'll see that he falls forward across the yellow line. Mike Holmgren looking at it from the sideline, and it was a good spot. The ball never crossed the 44-yard line. He wanted a challenge, refused to do it, and forced the punt. Eagles now back in their own zone.
Donovan McNabb 0 for 7. And the pass to Terrell Buckhalter, who is tackled immediately at the 16 by D.D. Lewis, starting in place of Lofa Tatupu, picking up 6. So the Eagles 3 and out on their first 3 possessions and facing 3rd down here.
And I don't think any of those 3 and outs of the Eagles in the first 3 possessions is a result of crowd noise. I mean, there's a certain rhythm that you have to have as an offense. You got to get the ball out of your hands faster than Donovan is, and you got to win at wide receiver to get open. Those things aren't happening, and that's not a function of crowd noise.
3rd and 4. And McNabb completes the pass to Greg Lewis, and Lewis will get the first down out to the 28-yard line. Jordan Babineau, one of the extra defensive backs, brings him down, and so after 3 and outs, the Eagles keep the ball.
Well, one thing about Andy Reid is he believes in throwing the ball, especially in the first half, to get a lead. And then he's always going to believe in his quarterback, Donovan McNabb. He's going to, you know, he always used to bring up the analogy of Larry Bird. If he was cold to start a game, shoot to get hot, and that's what he expects Donovan to do.
First down, and here's Westbrook. And Westbrook carries it out to the 31. Deion Grant making the tackle. And last week against Atlanta, we saw the legs of Donovan McNabb emerge after a long haul in which he had not run, and scored a touchdown rushing.
Yeah, I mean, a designed run, a quarterback draw. But if you want to get a rhythm on offense, handing it off to Brian Westbrook is a pretty good way to do it, especially against the Seattle defense that has struggled in -2 Pro Bowlers today.
And this is a good test for the Seahawks defense. 2nd down and 2. And here's Westbrook, 1st down, and tripped up by D.D. Lewis. Lewis, who played for the Seahawks before he went to Denver. Good tackle there.
And Brian Westbrook loves to run left behind Trey Thomas, who's going to block out on this play. And if his end, you can see Trey is looking inside at the ball. Now, when he widens that man, that tells Westbrook to cut inside that play. He's reading the inside hip of Trey Thomas. If he widens the man, cut inside him like he just did.
6-yard gain. And a 1st down with under 6 minutes to play in the 1st quarter. Eagles on their 37. And again they go to Westbrook, but nothing much there. Julian Peterson leads the crowd, and Westbrook held to a 1-yard pickup.
Now, here's what the tackles have to do. There's Trey Thomas looking in at the ball. He's got to have one eyeball in at the ball in this crowd noise because it's a silent snap. Donovan right now is not talking, and then one eyeball at his defensive tackle that he's blocking. And so these experienced tackles here, they got to actually stretch their eyeballs, be able to see the ball and see their man. They're very good at doing that.
And 90 of those 103 for the Seahawks came on that first play that got them the touchdown. 2nd and 9 out of the shotgun. Pressure coming in. McNabb avoids it and completes the pass to the tight end, Brent Selleck. And Selleck is knocked out of bounds deep in Seahawk territory inside the 20.
And this is a great job by Brent Selleck, who's going to be on Deion Grant, number 24 in your picture. Donovan does a good job of avoiding the pressure, and that's the best throw of the day. And so without L.J. Smith, Brent Selleck gets a chance to make a play. And well, last week they had 10 plays that traveled over 20 yards, what we call explosive plays. That's the first one today, and that's what this offense is built around.
44 yards on that one, Baldy. Avenel very nearly got to Donovan McNabb, so it's a 1st down inside the 20, and McNabb going into the end zone. It's intercepted. Deion Grant picks it off, and the Seahawks get it back.
Right, we just mentioned that Deion Grant was the GOAT on the last play. And nothing like bouncing back and making a play in the end zone here. An easy play. I mean, how you force the ball to Deshaun Jackson in the end zone, a complete force on 1st down. Again, working against Marcus Trufant, their best corner. The other guys, Josh Wilson and Kelly Jennings, are the guys that have really struggled this year. Would you think if Andy Reid was really game planning, you'd go after the other guys?
Only the 4th interception thrown by Donovan McNabb this year. And the 2nd pick by Deion Grant. Maurice Morris, number 20, is now the tailback. And on the end around, Corin Robinson is trapped behind. So the Eagles not fooled whatsoever. And it was Trent Cole who came in to make the play, and a loss of 4.
You know, going back to Seattle's defense, making a stop in the end zone, Dick, last year they had 20 interceptions as a defense, 14 fumble recoveries. I mean, they got the ball back to their offense a lot last year. When they came into this year, they knew that with the injuries at receiver early to start the season, that the defense thought they could carry this team. Well, they haven't, because they haven't gotten the interceptions like they just did.
2nd down and 14. Seneca Wallace throws it up for grabs. And very careless play at that. And it was Owen Schmidt was the intended receiver and very nearly picked off. And right now for a game break, let's quickly get it to Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles.
Baldy.
And all of the NFC East teams playing late or tomorrow. The Redskins and Steelers tomorrow. The Giants with a 1/2 game lead over the Redskins, but the Eagles just 2 out of the lead right now in last place. 3rd down and 14. On the rollout, Wallace getting some pressure, and the pass is caught by Bobby Ingram, but it's not going to be enough for the 1st down, and a punting situation coming up for the Seahawks.
Donovan looking over the photographs with Marty Morningweg, the offensive coordinator, at what went wrong on the last interception, the last throw. Defense is doing their job, though, of keeping him in this game after giving up the first play for a touchdown.
John Ryan, who was signed in the second week of the season, last kicked with Green Bay, will be punting to Deshaun Jackson,
who would love nothing more than a chance to return this ball. Seattle right now having to burn a timeout, not having enough men on the field. That will send Mike Holmgren into somewhere Mount Vesuvius range. I mean, nothing will make that guy blow faster.
And he's known for that.
Yes, he is.
Well, this January, Fox once again brings you the greatest week in college football, beginning with the FedEx Orange Bowl, the All-State Sugar Bowl, the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, and the FedEx BCS National Championship game. It's college football's biggest games this January, only on Fox. And it looks like we're going to have a shakeup again when the BCS standings come up later on the OT.
What a finish to the Texas Tech game last night. Wow. Crazy in Lubbock, and that was the sight last night. Longhorns falling behind early to the Red Raiders, but this throw with 8 seconds to go got them the lead.
And there's the kick, and it will go out of bounds. So Ryan, with a kick, will give the Eagles the ball at the 38-yard line. Only 38 yards that time for Ryan. So the Eagles, who got the big play on their last possession, 44 yards to set something up. McNabb threw the interception in the end zone, comes out again.
Not only the 4th interception of the year by Donovan, but a costly one. In great position against Seattle to go down and get some kind of a score. And you turn that one over like that, that's costly. But they've had good field position today. I mean, good kickoff return to start the game. A kick out of bounds here. I mean, good place to start your offense.
Which says something about the Seahawks defense thus far. 3:03 to go in the first. And on the end around, Deshaun Jackson looking for a block. Brian Russell fought through the block from Jamal Jackson and gets only 3.
Donovan giving a mea culpa to his group on the sideline that last throw was my fault. Got to kind of make up for it, but really, I mean, he's the trigger man here for an offense that can be very, very explosive, but they have struggled during long stretches in almost every single game this year. They don't look like a team that is ready to make any kind of a playoff run at this point.
2nd down and 7. 2 tight ends for McNabb. And the pass is knocked down. This one was intended for Deshaun Jackson and Marcus Trufant. I'll tell you, very aggressive secondary play we're seeing in the first quarter from Seattle.
Well, especially Trufant, the guy that they keep going after. And he was a Pro Bowl player a year ago, Dick, had 7 interceptions, had his best season as a pro. And even though the Seattle team has a losing record, has struggled defensively, has given up a lot of big plays, he's still playing at a high level. This is the guy, Kelly Jennings, who has struggled this year. And they haven't gone after him at all.
Buckhalter and Westbrook both in the lineup on 3rd down and 7. And here comes the blitz. And Curtis is the receiver downfield, and the throw a little bit too long for him, and Trufant was covering on the play. So once again, the Seahawks, after the Eagles had decent field position, hold, and Philadelphia has to kick.
Well, here's the guy. Here's Deshaun Jackson against Kelly Jennings. I mean, that's a win. There's no safety behind it. That's a much easier throw, but Donovan had his mind made up that he was going to Curtis, and not the right read on that play.
Rocca kicking to Forsett. Good kick by Rocket inside the 10. Forsett goes down, and the Seahawks this time, as the Eagles make sure, will have to start from the 9-yard line. Well, the NFL on Fox next week, the Rams and the Jets. Seahawks go east to play the Miami Dolphins, 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 o'clock Pacific. Coverage begins with the 4 Drive 1 Fox NFL Sunday pregame show, which begins at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific.
Well, Seneca Wallace has had an interesting introduction to the league. He was a late pick from Iowa State by Mike, and he kind of sat here for 3 years, and they wondered whether he could be a backup quarterback or not. He was a punt returner for him. He played wide receiver for him. And then he made this push to really win the backup job. And once they made that decision, look, anything happens to Matt Hasselbeck, here he is making his 7th start in a 6-year career.
From the 11-yard line, Maurice Morris with the handoff gets a couple of yards on first down.
And what they like about Seneca is he's got great athletic ability. He can run. They haven't seen him really pull the ball down and just take off with it. Not that kind of running. Very strong arm. Only 5'11". In fact, we saw him in a meeting the other day. He came in, he had the high white socks. You know, he was on his basketball days. He never gets rid of the high white sock look. And a guy that has great athletic ability and a strong arm, but only 5'11". He's a guy that's got to move around to see his target.
A confident guy out of Iowa State. And Mike Holmgren has been pretty patient with him. He hasn't been that way with all his quarterbacks. Here's Wallace, and Wallace with the pass almost caught by Corin Robinson, knocked away by Brian Dawkins, but that was a pretty good throw by Wallace.
Well, it was a great throw. He dropped it right in the bucket over Asante Samuel, but Asante is counting on that help by Brian Dawkins over the top. He's playing behind him in case there's a back shoulder throw, an underthrow, but he's counting on Dawkins to get over the top to make up the blow-up hit.
Baldy, let me ask you this. That long pass play, the touchdown to Corin Robinson, does that make Jim Johnson a little cautious as far as the blitzing goes? A little bit.
I don't think you can be cautious. It's who they are. It's their personality. I don't think you can back off. In fact, I think on this situation, you'll see another blitz.
Well, they're back on the 14-yard line, and the one way to beat it is to hand it off. Julius Jones will get the first down out to the 25. That'll combat blitzing. Bradley brings them down, and a gain of 11.
Well, they don't blitz at all. I mean, all it is just a 4-man rush, and it's a perfect call because it's 5-on-5. 5 linemen against 5 defenders. Julius Jones does a good job in that situation of just being patient, looking for the lane, and getting him 7 yards in the first down.
Under a minute remaining in the first quarter as Morris comes in for Jones, and Harris Wallace looking to throw, and the pass caught at the 32 by Corin Robinson. So a good play on first down will bring up second down and short as the time begins to wind down in this opening quarter.
You can see one of the qualities of Seneca Wallace that Mike Holmgren likes is he's a very poised guy. I mean, he's not going to get too emotional. He's not going to get too up. He's certainly not going to get too down. And right now, up 7-0. Looks like a guy that's been running this offense for a long time.
Second down and 2. And here is Morris. Morris is jarred close to first down yardage. Stuart Bradley, the rookie, as you see the final seconds ticking down. By the way, Matt Hasselbeck has some strength in his leg. Best positive news they've had as he visited doctors in Los Angeles with the bulging disc, which has affected himself. That's why he's been out for 4 games. First quarter history, 7-0 Seahawks. Start of the second quarter, the first quarter numbers as the Seahawks outplay the Eagles, who committed the only turnover, the interception thrown by McNabb into the end zone. So it'll be 3rd down and 1 for Seattle at the 34-yard line. TJ Duckett has come into the game. He is the 3rd running back on the team, and he gets the call, and Duckett will get the first down up to the 36.
You know, looking at the first quarter stats, and kind of Seattle's outplayed the Eagles in every category of this game. And, you know, teams have struggled this year going from the West Coast to the East Coast. I don't know if a West Coast team has won on the East, but typically going East to West, you don't get those kind of struggles. And the Eagles, they try to cover themselves. They left on Friday, had the all day yesterday to kind of get the jet lag out of them. But right now, the quarterback for the Eagles looks jet lagged. Had a horrible first quarter. And the Eagles have given up one big play, which is the difference in this game.
This team is out of sync right now. Early second quarter. First down, and the flip is caught by Owen Schmidt. Tell you, you have to hold your breath sometime watching Seneca Wallace do his stuff. Schmidt, the rookie, and good pressure by Mike Patterson on that play.
Well, Mike Holmgren does not teach quarterbacks to flip the ball. Now, he's flipped 2 of them today. And if you keep flipping the ball against a defense like the Eagles, it's going to land in the Eagles' hands. So this is ill-advised. I mean, the face mask should have been called there. Got away with one. But that flip right there trying to rescue a play is can get you pulled pretty quickly.
Seneca Wallace, 5 of 9, touchdown, 90-yard pass to Corin Robinson on the first play. Here is Maurice Morris charging forward out to the 43, where Victor Abiamiri makes the stop for the Eagles. This is such an important game for Philadelphia because this is a game that they should win. Even though they're traveling, they're on the road, they're playing a team with a losing record. They have the Giants next week in a very tough division. 5-3 is such a huge difference from really a 500 record.
It is, and if you're going to be a good team, you have to come west and take a team that's even desperate. I mean, the Seattle Seahawks are a desperate team, but you have to take a desperate team and dispose of them. That's what the Giants are doing to the Cowboys early in the game in the Meadowlands today. The Eagles aren't doing anything like that this afternoon.
3rd down and 5, and the pitch to Maurice Morris cutting upfield, and Morris will get the first down. What a crisp offense, especially on the running plays for the Seahawks. Darren Howard makes the tackle and a 7-yard pickup for Morris.
Well, there wasn't many yards inside, so they've gotten outside. They pulled some linemen here, and they get out front. You're going to see Sean Locklear, the right tackle, gets out, gets a good hit on Brian Dawkins and takes him out. And so if you have athletic offensive linemen, and many of these guys from Seattle played in the Super Bowl 3 years ago, have a lot of experience, get them out in the perimeter, start picking off the little guys.
Here is Julius Jones back in the lineup, and nothing there. Bradley right in the middle of that, no gain. Last week, the Seahawks managed only 39 yards rushing in their victory over San Francisco, and so far they have 25.
Well, that's been the anchor for a long time, Walter Jones. He doesn't miss games. He lines up. He's got some aching shoulders over the years of playing, but one of the most consistent and great performers that we've seen in this league over the last dozen years.
2nd down and 10. Here's Jones. Gets to midfield.
So it sets up a 3rd down here. And so Jim Johnson has said that when you can stop the run, it sort of frees you up to go after a quarterback to the blitz. And it's a blitzing situation. And Julius Jones on the other side, who played in Dallas and played against Jim Johnson's defense for years, twice a year for years now, you know, really made the awareness possible and alerted everybody of what can come after you in any of these situations.
4 wide receivers, 6 defensive backs on the field right now on 3rd down and 8. Pressure coming in on Seneca Wallace's pass, dropped by the tight end John Carlson. He would have had the first down and maybe some more, and their leading receiver drops one, bringing up 4th down.
The quarterback handled the pressure great, though. Stood right in there, right in the eye of the storm. Perfect throw. Right in stride. And John Carlson, who's their leading receiver on this team, has not dropped many like that.
Came into the game leading with 20. That's not a big amount.
No, it isn't. No, especially last year, Bobby Ingram had 94 catches leading this team.
John Ryan will be kicking to Deshaun Jackson. He'll let it go, and it sails into the end zone for a touchback. Less than 5 minutes into the 2nd quarter. Seahawks cling to that 7-0 advantage. Back here in Seattle, where the rain has stayed away since the start of the game. Eagles will begin from the 20-yard line. Donovan McNabb, 3 of 13, 57 yards and an interception. He'll have Brian Westbrook and Carell Buckhalter lined up in the backfield. And now Westbrook goes out, split wide left. McNabb's throw, and it's caught by Deshaun Jackson, and a penalty flag is down at the 31. 7-yard gain. Mike Carey, the referee, will explain.
Before the pass, holding, defense number 26, 5-yard penalty, automatic. First.
So Josh Wilson called for holding, an automatic first down as Deshaun Jackson limped off the field for the Eagles.
Here's the penalty, Dick. It's Josh Wilson on Brian Westbrook. I wouldn't say that's holding. I mean, he knocked Westbrook down, and All they saw was Westbrook's body leaning forward into the ground, and they threw the flag. But that's what you're allowed to do in that 5-yard range.
First penalty of the game.
They should take the penalty and make it 1st and 5.
But it's 1st and 10 from the 25. This time Westbrook lines up behind McNabb. And a penalty marker down as the Seahawks were showing blitz.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense number 98. He jumped into the neutral zone, causing an immediate reaction. 5-yard penalty is still 1st down. 5 yards to go.
Julian Peterson on the penalty, and Mike Holmgren talking to the head linesman about that. So 2 penalties already on the Seahawks, and the Eagles have it on the 30. It'll be now. Should be 1st and 5.
I agree with Mike. I mean, as a defensive lineman, you're allowed to go into the neutral zone as long as you get back. And that's what the end did on the play.
Westbrook on the carry and brought down. Terrific defensive play made by Leroy Hill, the outside linebacker, and Westbrook loses a yard.
Well, with the lack of success that the Eagles are having in the pass game right now, you're just seeing just the penetration here. It's Leroy Hill coming through. He doesn't get cut off, and he's able to come through and make that tackle in the backfield. Not many times you can trap Westbrook in the backfield.
Deshaun Jackson, who was shaken up and went out, is back on the field, and he'll line up right along with Kevin Curtis.
Well, they've been going at Deshaun Jackson a lot today. First time that he's been in the slot this afternoon.
2nd down and 6. And McNabb gets pressure, but gets it off, and wide open is Brent Selleck. And the tight end, Brent Selleck, will get a 1st down and many more yards into Seahawk territory to the 44, where Leroy Hill downfield makes this tackle.
Well, here's Brent Selleck. He's just going to come across the field. Just slip across and into the backfield. They get all the flow going away and just slip him out, almost like a tight end delay. 2 times now, the 2 biggest pass plays of the day have been to Brent Selleck.
Making his 3rd start this season, L.J. Smith, as you mentioned, out with a concussion. And a 27-yard gain there. 1st down. Eagles trying to get back in the game, and Westbrook this time, and the Seahawks are there. Yard and a half on 1st down.
We were talking to Brian Westbrook just yesterday morning, before the sun came up early in the morning, and he was saying to us that he upsets Andy a lot of times because he works on setting the defense up in the 1st and the 2nd quarters. You know, just trying to see where they're going to be, where their locations are, how they line up, and then he hits them in the 3rd and the 4th quarter. And so that may be going on because he's had no success running the ball here this afternoon.
That's what kind of a smart football player he is, Baldy. 2nd down and 8. Play action, and this pass and the catch by Kevin Curtis. And he'll be short of the 1st down by a yard and a half with Josh Wilson hanging all over him.
Kevin Curtis coming back from a sports hernia injury, one that Donovan McNabb had about 3 or 4 years ago. In fact, the same doctor, Dr. William Myers, did the surgery. He's come back. They put the wire mesh in there, just strengthen the lower abdomen. And probably the Eagles' fastest player. And they got to use that speed, I think, at some point here today to get him down the field.
Third and 2. McNabb, he's got the 1st down to Deshaun Jackson. Gets away. There's that Jackson speed, and finally, like a pinball machine, finally goes down at the 23-yard line. But Deshaun Jackson, with the run after the catch, picks up 14 yards and a 1st down to the Seahawk 22.
Well, he is quickly becoming the favorite target, I think, of Donovan McNabb. He's on a crossing route. A lot of man-to-man today. They get him away from Marcus Trufant. And a great story that Andy told us is he wanted to take Deshaun Jackson in the 1st round of the draft. But he had such a bad reputation coming out of Cal, he couldn't do it. They drafted a player in the 2nd round, Trevor Laws. He said, I was just hoping and praying he was still going to.
And let's see if he stepped out of bounds. He did not, and it's a touchdown as Marcus Trufant missed Brown here.
Well, they got after Trufant now 2 plays in a row, and that was the yards after the catch. Again, Marcus Trufant 2 missed tackles in back-to-back plays, allowing the Eagles to get into the end zone. And the Eagles getting healthy here. Reggie Brown coming back after missing a couple games. Kevin Curtis coming back from surgery. Getting those guys all healthy on the field.
Akers with the extra point ties the game at 7-7. Reggie Brown with his first touchdown catch of the season. And the Eagles back in the game have tied up the Seahawks 7 apiece. 7-7 the score on a 22-yard touchdown pass from Donovan McNabb to Reggie Brown, capping an 80-yard drive. And so McNabb, who was 3 for 13 before that last drive, was perfect on the scoring drive to tie it up. Akers will kick off. That's Josh Wilson at the 3. And Wilson returns it close to the 30-yard line. And we will take a break with under 6.5 minutes to go in the first half. Tie score. Back here in Seattle with the score tied 7-7. And the Seahawks with a first down on their 28-yard line. Longest tenured active head coaches. Andy Reid and Mike Holmgren. That's 10 years with that one team that they've been. And Seneca Wallace passing to Bobby Ingram on the rollout, and Ingram picks up about 6.5 yards. So Andy Reid, who of course worked under Mike Holmgren, and very interesting, Mike Holmgren, of course, this is his last year. He has announced that here in Seattle. He says, I will take the next year off, maybe. And there's a possibility that he would change that mind and coach somewhere else.
I think you always, as a coach, you got to keep it open. Never say never. But he said he's worked 17 straight years, never had any time off.
And Julius Jones is knocked back emphatically by Omar Gaither, and no gain on the play. For a game break, here's Kurt Menefee.
Well, T.O., Dick Baldy, and Laura.
Well, the Cowboys are trying to stay in the race without Tony Romo in the lineup, trying to avoid going to 5 and 4.
3rd down and 3, and Wallace. Now the pressure starts coming on, and smartly throws the ball away, even though it was 3rd down, not forcing anything. And Jaquay Parker led a rush of several Eagle defensive players. But to Wallace's credit and to the offensive line, he has not been sacked. And we are in the second quarter with 5:32 remaining.
And he's done what Mike Holmgren told him he has to do today. He cannot turn the ball over. Even though he's flipped it a couple of times carelessly, hasn't turned it over and given it back to the Eagles.
John Ryan with the kick. Deshaun Jackson coming up. Not a good kick by Ryan. On the run is Deshaun Jackson, and he is downed heavily at the 46-yard line. And it was Leroy Hill who made that play. Timeout. We'll be back. 7-7. We're back here. Deshaun Jackson very quickly becoming a personality and a spark plug for this Philadelphia Eagle team. Other than T.O. for that 1 year, they never really had an exciting wide receiver. He could be it.
Well, he's providing it, and I think he's going to have a great second half. If this Eagles team is going to do anything, he's going to be a huge part of it.
First down for the Eagles on their 45, tied at 7. McNabb, and going to Matt Schobel for the tight end, getting a couple.
Watch Deshaun Jackson take this last punt return back. This kid is fearless, completely reckless here. I mean, just attacking the punt return unit here, spinning, getting knocked down. When I watch Deshaun Jackson, he reminds me of Allen Iverson in a football uniform, because that's how he plays the game, the way Allen Iverson does. Up and down the court, full speed, and regardless of his body.
2nd down and 5, and the inside handoff to Westbrook, short of the first down. Speaking of Deshaun Jackson, you mentioned Allen Iverson, the basketball player. How about baseball? Because Major League scouts checked him out, and one of them said he was the fastest down the first base line that anyone this scout ever saw in history. And the Tampa Bay Rays said, we'll draft you if you give up football. He said, no way. And so that's why he's wearing an Eagle uniform instead of playing baseball.
And Andy Reid consulted one of the scouts of the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, that's a friend of his, that said, draft this kid. He's special, and you'll see that on the football field.
3rd down and 1 from the 46. McNabb buying time, and the pass to Selleck, the tight end, and he's got the first down as he got over the line. Good play by Selleck with Leroy Hill hanging on it. And right now, let's check in with Laura Okmin. More on Deshaun Jackson.
Well, I was talking to Deshaun about his reputation, and he admitted to me he got away with a lot in college, said it's not happening here. He said the biggest adjustment isn't on the field. We can see that. It's off of it. He said it's staying level-headed and staying focused, but he says his teammates are staying on him. Even during practice, he said if he even thinks about loafing, which he does, and not finishing a play, he said Brian Westbrook is immediately in my ear saying, suck it up. It's the 4th quarter, and we need you. I said, why is it working here if you haven't had that discipline, you haven't had guys on you before? He said, because the harder I work, the more I see and the more I buy in.
Well, he's bought in, and you talk about the extra effort, and there you see Selleck with the extra effort as the Eagles get the first down on the 44 of the Seahawks.
Well, I tell you, Brent Selleck is taking advantage of the injury to L.J. Smith today. And they are still celebrating the Phillies World Series. I'm sure there's still some stragglers on Broad Street in Philly. A couple of them have made it out here to Seattle as Philly fans in general travel well.
First down for the Eagles in a 7-7 game, and here's Westbrook. And Westbrook diving his way close to the 40. Darryl Tapp making the tackle. Lito Shepherd, who had an interception last week for the Eagles, is in the locker room with a groin injury. So that thins out that solid secondary somewhat for Philadelphia.
Well, he's been disgruntled with contract dispute with the Eagle, and really his only leverage is to play good football. With it, when Asante Samuel was banged up last week against Atlanta, he came in, intercepted a ball in the end zone that really helped preserve that Eagle win. 2nd and 7, and Deshaun Jackson is in there and in motion to the left. And the pass going to Jackson. Jackson looking for first down yardage, and the tackle made from behind. And with that effort by Jordan Babineau on Jackson, might have pushed him over for the first down. It'll be close. You know, the terminology in the NFL today is interesting because do you have a number 1 receiver? Who's your number 1 receiver? Well, that last play is what you design for number 1 receiver, a way to get him the ball in space with blockers out in front. And so this is a play designed just for Deshaun. He started off in the backfield, then he comes out in motion. Now you pick up Hank Baskett with a blocker out in front, and you're able to get close to the first down. 3rd down and less than a yard. Terrell Buckholter lines up, and the handoff is to Buckholter. And let's see if the extra effort gave him the first down. So right now the Eagles have 2 guys they want to get the ball to in Westbrook and now Deshaun Jackson, as we're down to the 2-minute warning. And see where the spot is officially. The Eagles may have the first down. Let's see. No, they're short. 4th down. The Eagles have not been good on short yardage and goal line situations this year. And when I asked Donovan McNabb about it yesterday, I said, is there any situation where you can't get a yard as a quarterback sneak? And he said, no. He goes, I can get you a yard anytime you need one. Well, they're going to need one now. They're going to have a measurement. And we're not quite breaking away on the 2-minute warning as of yet. Well, if they're short, I don't think there's any situation where they would not go for it here. Yeah. The Eagles were pointing first down, and now you see Brandon Mebane saying, he didn't get the first down. Well, they're going to have time to think this one over now. 2-minute warning here in Seattle, tied at 7. 2 minutes remaining in the first half. Reading Andy Lee's any read lips, like reading a ventriloquist. But even that, it says we're going. Watch the pinch, meaning watch the defensive ends and tackles squeeze it in and pinching to the ball. But to me, this is a play set up for Donovan McNabb. Just sneak it right behind maybe Max Gene Gillis at 360 pounds.
4th and less than a yard. And the Eagles, the only team without a 4th down conversion.
Now there's nobody in the backfield.
Can get one here. And the quarterback sneak, and it's a 1st down for the Eagles. Ball came loose, but McNabb had the 1st down and was down. So the quarterback sneak gives the Eagles the 1st down. They still have all 3 of their timeouts remaining.
Here's what this is all about. First of all, these guys got to get all the way up on the ball here, get more ball. But this is all about getting as low as you possibly can. All the linemen are in 4-point stances to get themselves lower to start with. And then it's just a monster mash right there. And there's a hot potato that comes out, but McNabb's already down and got the 1st down.
How about McNabb, who is 3 for 13 in the 1st quarter, 7 for 7 here in the 2nd quarter. And a timeout called by the Eagles. That's their 1st timeout. 7-7, and the Seahawks have played the Eagles tough, getting the 1st touchdown. NFL on Fox resumes next week.
Take a look at this play. The quarterback sneak. Donovan's across. His body isn't down. No part of his body is touching the ground. And the ball is stripped out, but I think it's pulled out late. D.D. Lewis there, filling in for Lofa Tatupu, pulling that ball out like ripping a lawnmower cord here, getting your hand inside that ball. Being on top of guys doesn't put them down.
Well, Mike Holmgren might have been hoping for a review
inside the
within
final
2 minutes, right? So
he's just hoping that somebody upstairs could get a look at it to see if it's worth reviewing. And that's why he's Andy Reid talking to Mike Carey about that, but nobody upstairs wants to review it.
Now, forward progress is not reviewable, but the question is, did the ball get jarred loose before his knee or shin were down?
No, I mean, he got enough for the 1st down, but was any part of his body down to put him down when the ball got pulled out?
Because if he wasn't really down, and that's an issue.
Well, you see he's laying on top of his lineman, so he's not down there. And at that point, I don't know how you could find out.
Why wouldn't they look this over?
Sure.
Why wouldn't they have a booth review?
There's a charged timeout on the field for Seattle.
Well, Mike called that timeout just so that they would maybe give the people upstairs in the booth a chance to take a look at it, which I'm sure they have, and they don't see. Nobody is going underneath the hood here. Mike Carey staying on the field, so they're not going to review it at this point.
And Mike Holmgren is puzzled over all this.
I'm with you, Dick. The ball's out. You
Why
can't
not?
really tell if McNabb is on the ground, if he's down at all when the ball comes out.
The only thing is, if they blew the whistle, that would make a review moot. He was motionless on top of the players, is the word we get. He wasn't on the ground, but was motionless, and they probably blew the whistle at that point.
Okay. Well, I guess if his feet are off the ground, it's hard to get any more yards, and so that puts him down.
Seahawks now with 1 timeout remaining and a 1st down at the 34 for the Eagles. Trying to break the 7-7 tie, and McNabb has Westbrook. And Westbrook is ridden out of bounds by Julian Peterson after stop for no gain.
They've done a good job of just controlling and corralling Brian Westbrook here this afternoon, coming off his best day running as a pro last week. But he can beat you in a lot of different ways. That time they threw it to him, but Julian Peterson can match him on the outside, speed for speed.
Westbrook has gained 24 yards on 9 carries. That's a 2.7 average. 2nd down and 10. And here's Westbrook on the inside handoff. And he is tackled at the 28-yard line. Will be short of the first down by about 3 or 4 yards. Under a minute remaining in the first half. And Eagles still have all of their timeouts remaining. And now a timeout called by Philadelphia. And want to remind you, coming up on the Visa halftime report, Kurt, Terry, Michael, and Jimmy will have scores and highlights from around the league. And the Fox Sports Ticker has up to the second scores and stats. So, Brian, the Eagles are looking for the touchdown, but if nothing else, they have Akers to try to give them the lead before intermission.
Well, David Akers has not had a good season. Didn't have a good season last year where he missed 10 field goals. He's not having a good season this year. I mean, I think you got to think touchdown all the way. You're trying to get back into this NFC East race. You've had 2 division losses already this season to the Cowboys and to the Redskins. I think with the firepower that they have, I mean, they've got to take every opportunity to get this ball into the end zone.
But it's been a struggle for the Eagles, make no mistake about it, playing the 2-5 Seahawks, who had only beaten the Rams and the 49ers.
You take Westbrook and put him out wide right next to Deshaun Jackson.
Try to cover those 2. 3rd down and 3. Ball at the 27. McNabb has plenty of time, and the pass is caught by Kevin Curtis. Changes direction, diving toward the end zone, and no signal given, and he is out of bounds at about the 2.
This was an example of great explosion by Kevin Curtis after the catch here. Going to keep himself alive. Pretty good route against Kelly Jennings. Now, he's not going to go out of bounds. Now, there's the explosion. And if you want to see if that lower abdomen injury has healed, that's a pretty good play to test it. Because he went from no stop with full pursuit coming from the inside out and almost got that ball across the goal line. And this part of the field here has been the Eagles' Achilles heel throughout the season.
26-yard pass play. So there you see the contrast in start to Donovan McNabb, what he has done since the 3-13 beginning, throwing an interception, now 9 for 9 and 108 yards and a touchdown. And the Eagles call their second timeout. 45 seconds on the clock as Andy Reid discusses things with Westbrook.
It's interesting talking to Andy Reid yesterday, and he said when he was an assistant coach in Green Bay, coming off a Green Bay Super Bowl championship team in 1997, they were 8-2 in Green Bay, and they were playing the Indianapolis Colts, who were 0-10, but their defensive coordinator was Jim Johnson. And it was at that time when the Colts just whipped the Packers, whipped Brett Favre, beat him up and down the field. He said, if I ever become a head coach, I'm going to go find that Jim Johnson, who happened the next year to be in Seattle coaching the linebackers here. Got him out of the Pacific Northwest, and really any success that Andy Reid and the Eagles have had can directly be linked to what Jim Johnson has done on that side of the ball.
And they had 10 defensive touchdowns when Jim Johnson was here as well. So we know what he's done. Meanwhile, it's the Eagle offense with a 1st and goal at the 1. Westbrook and Buckhalter line up. Dan Klecko. And it's going to be play action, and McNabb will get the touchdown, and he gets it to the lineman who is eligible for the score.
That's Todd Herremans.
Todd Herremans.
The Eagles have struggled at tight end, losing L.J. Smith, so Todd Herremans has been going out and playing tight end. He's eligible. He has to announce himself. Here he is looking at the ball, blocks, and then slips off. And an offense that has struggled all year long down on the goal line relies on their starting left guard to get him a key touchdown to put him in the lead here against Seattle.
However you get it done.
Exactly.
And David Akers with the extra point, and the Eagles now lead at 14-7 with 40 seconds remaining. And you don't often see Andy Reid with a big smile on the sideline.
Well, Andy's smiling because as an old offensive lineman himself and a guy who has worked in that side of the ball, anytime you can get some good publicity for the big guys, and he considers himself a big guy.
Yes.
You can see that will keep Todd Herremans jacked up for the rest of the day, maybe the rest of the season. Now, His job is to stay in the trenches, to block for Westbrook, protect McNabb, but he's never had a feeling like that in the NFL.
11 plays, 55 yards, and the 1-yard scoring pass to Harriman's, and it's a 14-7 lead after Seattle, with the explosion, took the early lead on the touchdown pass from Wallace to Corin Robinson, 90 yards.
I've played that position, Dick. I've played that tight end on goal line situations before. I had a chance to catch a touchdown pass one day, but Mike Singletary, he interfered with me, tackled me in the end zone, and took my one opportunity away from catching a touchdown.
They never went back to you?
There's Todd Harriman's. You know, all the weapons on the Eagles offense. Todd Harriman's right now the biggest star of the day so far.
So they never went back to you?
No, it's one time only, and they might never go back to Todd again.
And the kick in the end zone, touchback. And the Seahawks, with 40 seconds remaining in the first half, will get the ball on the 20. You're getting a big kick out of Harriman's, aren't you?
That's funny because linemen are funny. Like you sit in order. That's Trey Thomas, the left tackle. Harriman's the left guard. Jamal Jackson is the center. They sit in order of their position. There's a seating chart on that bench, and when you catch a touchdown pass, you automatically get your seat saved. And let everybody come over to congratulate you. It's like the king's throne.
Tell you, the look on the Eagles sideline a lot more joyous than it was early in the game when the Seahawks, and they're, why is he on the receiving, and why are they talking? Why doesn't Harriman do all the talking here? He caught the touchdown pass.
He should save that photograph of him catching the touchdown pass.
So from the 20-yard line, and one timeout left for Seattle, and on the run, the pass caught by John Carlson, who dropped one earlier. This time hangs on. Rookie from Notre Dame, stopped by Joselio Hansen, but gets 22 yards, and the Seahawks call their final timeout.
Wow. You know, the Eagles last week beat the Atlanta Falcons, and they went up against a rookie quarterback, Matt Ryan. He made a play against the Eagles last week that I have never seen before in pro football. Matt Ryan actually threw the ball to himself on a play-action fake, completely fooled the Eagles out. There's the ball in the middle of the air. Both hands are out, and the play-action fake really had the Eagles fooled. He completed this pass down the field to the tight end, Justin Field, but you go around the league and you look at some of the rookies. We've talked a lot about Deshaun Jackson today, but that Matt Ryan has raised everybody's eyebrow about how well he's played.
First down on the 43 with 33 seconds remaining. No timeouts for the Seahawks. And this pass is low for Bobby Ingram. The amazing thing about that play, number one, it was performed by a rookie who's playing as if he'd been in the league for 7 years. And it impressed Donovan McNabb, who hadn't really seen it and was amazed that it was executed that way by Ryan.
Well, to throw the ball up in the air to yourself with your back turned on the road against the Eagles defense, that takes a lot of moxie. Like Jim Johnson said, it's the best rookie quarterback that he's seen in this league.
Second down and 10 from the 43. 4 wide receivers. They run it to Maurice Morris, and Morris gets hit at the 44 by Stuart Bradley. Good looking middle linebacker for the Eagles. And now the clock running. No timeouts remaining. As Seneca Wallach's clocks. Sorry.
Yeah, but it's a mysterious call before that, Dick. You get the big play down the field to John Carlson. Okay, you burn your timeout. Now you just kill the ball on third down. Now you're forced to a fourth down. And you get one play here. Really not good management at the time running on the second down play.
They're going to kick it fourth down and 8.
Wow.
Of course, with fourth down, and crowd a little distraught over what they hope would be a Seahawks. And there you see Mike Holmgren really enraged over the way that worked.
Well, I don't think Seneca Wallace realized it was third down when he spiked it to kill it. You don't want to go for it on fourth down and be short and give the ball back to the Eagles.
Deshaun Jackson will see the ball bounce into the end zone for the touchback with 5 seconds to go. Well, the Eagles got what they wanted. The go-ahead touchdown, capping a 55-yard drive.
That's not the way Mike Holmgren teams finish the half. I mean, that was not well executed. That was not well done. They had a great start to a drive on the opening reception by John Carlson. I think Holmgren will take that displeasure into the locker room. I think they're going to hear an earful for the next 10 or 12 minutes.
And it doesn't appear as if McNabb is going to take a knee here as they spread out 4 wide receivers. And they hand off to Brian Westbrook. And that will do it for the first half. So the Seattle Seahawks, Seneca Wallace, got everyone off their seats with a 90-yard touchdown pass to Corin Robinson on the first play of their first possession. But McNabb with 2 touchdown passes giving the Eagles the lead. 14-7 as Fox NFL Sunday will continue with the Visa halftime report after these messages and a word from your local Fox station.
The Visa Halftime Report is sponsored by Visa, proud sponsor of the NFL. Life takes Visa.
And welcome to the Visa Halftime Report. Kurt Menefee along with Terry, Michael, and Jimmy. Howie has been under the weather, so we let him go. But we got some good highlights to talk about, TB.
All right, Dallas. And then later on in the second quarter, out of the eye, play action at the goal line, rolling right. Tackle eligible. There's the McNabb. He finds Todd Harriman's touchdown, 14-7 Eagles on top of Seattle.
As you look at that score, Atlanta outgained the Raiders 309 yards to -2 in the first half.
Dolphins at Denver. Jay Cutler's pass picked off by Will Allen. Will Allen go all the way? Yes, he does, Jimmy. Touchdown, taking it back 32 yards for the touchdown. It's the Dolphins 16-7 over the Denver Broncos.
Elsewhere, Tennessee remains the only unbeaten team in the league, winning in overtime over Green Bay. Minnesota knocks off Houston. Chicago comes back from 10 down to beat the Lions to keep Detroit winless. Arizona wins in St. Louis. Tampa Bay has to go to overtime, but they win it in Kansas City. The Jets knock off Buffalo. Baltimore wins by 10 in Cleveland, and the Cincinnati Bengals get their first victory of the season, 2 points over the Jacksonville Jaguars. And Michael, as you take a look at this Cowboys-Giants matchup, I want you to tackle the question of whether or not you expect to see Brooks Baldinger in the second half for the Cowboys.
I think so, but I don't care who your quarterback is. If you can't protect the guy, he's not going to play well. Brad Johnson looks like he's in the pocket. He threw the ball up once. Roy Williams caught it. Now he's back to just throwing it up. You're not going to have success doing that. They're ganging up on Marion Barber. They're forcing the defense to win the game for the Cowboys. That's not going to happen unless Eli continues to have miscommunications with Plaxico Burress.
Yeah, Giants got control of this division, and then they go to Philadelphia. Next week, Philadelphia at Seattle today. Philadelphia in control of the game. Other than one 90-yard pass, they're able to control the game. Philadelphia with Donovan McNabb throwing the ball to Westbrook. Should have the win.
Jimmy, why isn't Mike Williams and Terrell Owens running the crossing routes and they're throwing the football with these guys on the run? I don't understand what the Cowboys' offense is.
I don't think they believe.
They don't have time
when
to
you
throw
don't believe in a
Some
quarterback,
of
you don't do
get
that.
Local news, others more highlights. Stay with us. TB, I feel the need for more highlights.
Let's do it. Let's do it right now. Green Bay at Tennessee, the undefeated Titans. That's Rodgers, 5-yard strike to Donald Driver. 10-6 Packers on top of the Titans. Then in the second quarter, Chris Johnson off right tackle, 3-yard strike. Tennessee 13-10 over Green Bay. Let's go into overtime. Then Rob Baramas nails this 41-yard field goal. It's good in overtime, 19-16. Tennessee beats Green Bay. Tampa Bay at Kansas City. Jeff Garcia out of the pocket, doing what he does best, on the move, Antonio Bryant. 24-yard touchdown, 27-25, Kansas City beating Tampa Bay. Garcia to Alex Smith, 2-point conversion, we're tied up. 27-all, then in overtime, Matt Bryant nails his 34-yard field goal, 30-27, Tampa Bay takes care of Kansas City. Arizona at St. Louis. Kurt Warner passes back, there's Jonathan Wade. Through the hands. Should have been intercepted, caught by Jeremy Urban. 56-yard touchdown, 24-7. Your final 34-13. Arizona on the road beats the Rams. Jets at Buffalo. Trent Edwards pass intercepted by Abram Elam. Here we go, Jimmy. 92 yards. Interception return for the touchdown. Jets win 26-17 over the Buffalo Bills. Then it's Detroit at Chicago, second quarter. Corey Redding takes Kyle Orton down. Orton has to leave this football game. Ankle injury, 10-6 at this point. Bears are beating the Lions. In comes Rex Grossman. Fourth quarter, his 1-yard quarterback sneak, 27-23. It is the Bears in a final over the scrappy Detroit Lions.
Oh, Rex Grossman with a comeback victory. The Lions now the only winless team in football now that Cincinnati's got a victory. Detroit 0-8. Deep stuff. We like to throw out numbers like that. Second half comes your way right after this.
I thought we were through.
Oh, we are not.
And the teams are back on the field getting ready for the second half kickoff. And the Seahawks, who deferred winning the toss, will get the ball first, and they need the ball.
Well, they do. I mean, they've got one play here today. I mean, one 90-yard strike on the first play. And since then, the Eagles defense is just taking control of this football game.
The touchdown and then 6 punts. So, yes, the Philadelphia Eagles defense has clamped down, and they got a couple of drives. And if it weren't for that first interception, they might have even had another score.
Well, they've had some opportunities, you know, but this is an offense that has struggled without Matt Hasselbeck, with all the injuries at wide receiver. But I'll give Seneca Wallace credit. Under a lot of pressure, under duress here today, he's played pretty well from what they've asking him to do. I think they have to ask him to do more now, because behind right now a defense from Philadelphia that feels good about themselves. He's going to have an opportunity here, this opening drive of the third quarter, to get this team some points.
Remember, none of the wide receivers playing today for the Seahawks were on the field in week 2. So it shows you how they have been injured as well, as Akers' kick sails out of the end zone, and Seattle will take over on the 20. We'll take a look at the first half statistics. So the only turnover, and Seneca Wallace, to his credit, has not turned the ball over to this point.
The Eagles really got hot in the second quarter. I mean, McNabb found his stride. He got into a rhythm. At one point, had completed 9 straight passes in a row, led him to 2 second quarter scores to take control of this game. But really, the Eagles defense, outside of the first play, has played very well.
McNabb was 10 for 10 in the second quarter after a 3-13 start. And here is Wallace, has Julius Jones, the running back, and 3 wide receivers on first down. And here's Jones, and nothing there as we check in with Laura Okmin.
Well, Andy Reid said the difference in the offense, pretty simple. It was just settling down. Once Donovan did, he said the entire offense did. He said it's really pretty simple for the second half. Keep doing what they're doing. Just pick up where they left off. He said the third quarter has not been kind to them. As for Mike Holmgren, he said a drop pass here, not converting a third down there. Mistakes are going to kill us in this game. He said he wants to run the ball in the second half. The key is sustaining something. He said sustaining anything good right now.
All right, Laura, thank you very much. On 2nd and 10, and the pass thrown underneath, and it's caught by Bobby Ingram. And not much there, and he'll get out to the 25-yard line. Stuart Bradley on the coverage.
You know, in talking to Bobby Ingram on Friday, he's really just a great kid, a Penn State grad. He's, you know, cheering for Joe Pa and the group to get to the BCS National Championship game. But he was the leading receiver last year. He came in the first week of camp. He basically broke his shoulder blade, and that started the injuries to the wide receivers.
3rd and 5. Pass knocked down, and it was Asante Samuel who knocked the ball down. Kerry Colbert, the intended receiver. And quickly, 4th down, so we'll have 7 punts for the Seahawks now after that first touchdown.
Well, Asante Samuel actually ran that route better than the receiver. He jumped all over it. He spends a great deal of time during the week studying the routes, route combinations, what quarterbacks like, and then he does a masterful job of taking it to the field on Sundays.
And Jim Johnson said of all the players covering routes that he has seen better than anyone. High compliment. So John Ryan will be kicking, and Deshaun Jackson back deep from the 31, and running out of bounds at the 41-yard line, and that's where the Eagles would take over when we return to Seattle after these messages. Back here in Seattle, Dick Stockton, Brian Baldinger, Laura Okmin. Dick and Baldy up here in the booth. There is Donovan McNabb. What a difference from the first quarter. And after that, first down at the 41 for the Eagles, who lead 14-7. Here's Brian Westbrook. And Westbrook brings it out to the 45, picking up 4 yards. Leroy Hill is there.
But Laura said that for Andy Reid, and talking to him coming out at halftime, that for the Eagles it's more of just doing the same, and they really found their rhythm in the second quarter. The defense allowed them to do it, constantly getting the ball back. But this is where you really want to take control of the game here. Third quarter, you got the ball. The crowd is into it, but you can take them out with a good drive.
3 wide receivers. Hank Baskett, number 84, to the bottom of your picture. And here's the pass up top, and Basket makes the catch and goes out of bounds at the 31-yard line. So Hank Basket getting into the act, and a gain of 25.
Well, McNabb throws this ball high to Basket. He's a great leaper. I don't know if he got both those feet in bounds. It looked like one knee came out of bounds, 1 foot down, and
yep.
If I was Mike Holmgren, I would challenge that. I'm not so sure that the second foot came down. Mike saw it pretty fast. We saw it from up here. Left foot comes
ruling
down.
On the field is a completed catch at the sideline. It's being challenged by Seattle.
Question is, did he drag that right foot?
Yep.
And I don't know. Mike Carey will look up and look at the tape and decide. So a challenge by Mike Holmgren will come back. Mike Holmgren has challenged the reception by Hank Basket, which will be a 25-yard reception. We'll take our look.
Now the left foot clearly gets down. And from here, it looks like the right toe is going to tap on the grass before the knee hits the white stripe. And looks like the right toe tapped. I don't think there's anything there that Mike Carey will overturn.
After review, the receiver got a left foot down, then a right toe down. When he went to the ground, he maintained control. Catch on the sideline. The ruling on the field is correct. Seattle is charged with the first team timeout.
So the call, the way we saw it up here, the way Baldy had noticed the right toe tap and a first down at the 30-yard line, and now Donovan McNabb has completed 11 straight passes.
But he can get streaky hot now. He's done it in the past. He's done it in big games in the past, and he's in that groove right now. And typically after a lull, after a challenge like that, Andy Reid's not afraid to go up top and strike deep.
First down at the 30. And there's McNabb. He has all day, and instead goes short to Westbrook, who gets clobbered by Darryl Tapp, but holds onto it. Right now, a game break. Here's Kurt Menefee.
Cowboys and Laura.
Well, I remember Jimmy Johnson's comments on the pregame show about Bruce Baldinger.
Yeah, Brooks Baldinger can't get it done and is not getting it done.
Meanwhile, right here, the Eagles trying to get it done on 2nd down and 6. McNabb again, and he has Selleck, the tight end, who's having a big game. Selleck out of the University of Cincinnati makes his 4th catch. Trufant on the tackle, and it will bring up 3rd down and short for the Eagles.
Well, the offensive line of the Eagles have taken control of this game as well, because Donovan, the last 2 passes now, has looked deep, wanted to go deep, wasn't there, was able to have the time to check it down underneath. But right now, Trey Thomas, John Runyon, Max Gene Gillis, that wall in front with the wingspan of the size of a yellow school bus, you're keeping Donovan McNabb very clean.
3rd and 2. And McNabb trying to get it to Westbrook outside, and that will bring up 4th down and 2 for the Eagles. And the field goal team comes out, led by David Akers. Well, Jim Mora, who was signed to be the next head coach of the Seahawks, and when the University of Washington Huskies' Tyrone Willingham was not going to return, Jim Mora quickly said he was not going to be a candidate for that job. Meanwhile, here's Akers with a 39-yard attempt, and the kick is good. And the Eagles have opened up now a 17-7 lead over the Seahawks early here in the 3rd quarter. Great week for the city of Philadelphia. The Eagles looking to possibly vault over the Dallas Cowboys into 3rd place in the NFC East. The Phillies winning the World Series. David Akers kicking off to Josh Wilson, a yard in the end zone. Wilson, who returned an interception 74 yards for a touchdown last week for the Seahawks, tackled by Tracy White. And we'll be back with the Eagles up by 10. Early here in the 3rd quarter, the Eagles lead the Seahawks 17-7. The Eagles playing a clean game. They have not had McNabb sacked. They protected him well, have not committed a penalty to this point. And a first down on the 27 for Seneca Wallace. He has Maurice Morris, the running back, in motion to the left. Wallace flips it out to the fullback Owen Schmidt, and the rookie from West Virginia is stopped by Brian Dawkins after a pickup of 7.
The third time we've seen Seneca Wallace just flip a ball. It just seems like you work too hard to throw the football. Work on it every day, and just to kind of flip it out there like that.
He's an option quarterback.
Well, he's trying to make himself into a pro drop back pocket quarterback, and that's not really what you need.
Morris and the Eagles hang up on him and stop him from getting the first down by a yard, thanks to Broderick Bunkley. 3-yard pickup on that play.
Well, you know, we've seen on one of the highlights here the interception by Brooks Baldinger in New York today. Interception for a touchdown. And around the league, if you don't have a quality backup quarterback, I mean, a guy that can really go win you games the way Kerry Collins has in Tennessee, you really put yourself in a position that you can't compete.
There are a lot of teams that are good that don't have
backup quarterback. Dallas is one of those teams.
And here is T.J. Duckett, and he'll get the first down. Trying to hold on to him was Quentin Michael. And a first down out to the 37-yard line. And, of course, you always wonder if Eli Manning happens to unfortunately get hurt.
David Carr is the backup who really had no success in Carolina last week. Now kind of getting looked at on the sideline.
Remember, he had his eye poked by his teammate. First down, incomplete to Corin Robinson. Trey Thomas inadvertently poked him in the eye, and when he came out for warm-ups, he had a shield, did Donovan McNabb, and dumped that.
Well, it scratched his cornea last week. It really bothered him the rest of the game after it happened, and then during the week it bothered him. Seneca Wallace with the first play, 90-yard touchdown to Corin Robinson. Those are most of the statistics.
Not much after that. Yep. 7 punts. Closest the Seahawks have gotten. The Eagles 47. Second down and 10. Here's Morris with a burst. Maurice Morris keeps his feet and finally goes down, and that gets the crowd back into it. 27 yards on this burst.
Straight up the middle. See that? Stuart Bradley gets blocked on that play. And now Quentin Michael, who's the safety, has got to be the valve there to stop the play. Best run of the day by far by Seattle, something that Mike Holmgren wanted to do to really balance this offense, and they got a big play out of it for the first time.
Second longest play of the game, obviously, the 90-yard pass to Corin Robinson on the first play, the longest, and now looks like Seneca Wallace was signaling for a timeout to Mike Carey. And we'll check to see if it is. It would be the second.
There is no charged timeout. We'll hold the ball ready to be snapped because of the late substitution.
I don't know what would stop the play at that point if there's no timeout.
Seahawks are fortunate.
Now they're going to allow them to re-huddle.
Gary Colbert has entered the game. And it's a first down on the Eagles 34. So Robinson and Colbert out to the left. Colbert into the slot, and play action for Seneca Wallace being chased by the lineman. And here's the pass to Colbert. Does he hold on? No, it's incomplete. And it was Brian Dawkins emphatically saying, we got it loose.
Perfect throw by Seneca Wallace. Absolutely perfect. Laid out there. Beautiful finish by Dawkins. Getting that ball out. Staying with the left hand on top of the ball all the way through the completion of the play to finish this play. Doesn't possess the ball all the way through. That's an incomplete pass.
Hey, the Wallace on a couple of occasions has thrown some really solid passes right on the money today.
Right on the money. I mean, you can't throw a deep ball any better than that.
Now a timeout charged to the Seahawks, and they'll be left with one. They lost a challenge earlier. They have one timeout left in the second half. We'll be back. The Eagles lead the Seahawks 17-7. They have scored 17 unanswered points. And this is the deepest penetration that the Seahawks have had. They had the 90-yard touchdown pass, punted 7 times. They had second down and 10 at the 34. Wallace being driven back and making the catch is Corin Robinson, but he's hit immediately, does not get out of bounds. They still need 10 yards for the first down. Sheldon Brown on the good play.
Well, Donovan has gotten hot since the first quarter, and his statistics are back up right now with the 2 touchdown passes. Seneca Wallace certainly has played well out here today, starting with the first play. Has not turned the ball over. Done a good job, but faced an important 3rd and 10 here, and it looks like the Eagles are going to lay off any kind of a blitz.
Wallace with the pass, and it's knocked down. Good defensive play made by Sheldon Brown. That's 2 good ones in this series. Corin Robinson was the man they wanted to get the ball to.
Right there, you're going to see Sheldon Brown looking right at Seneca Wallace to see the quarterback, the throw, and the route. Playing outside in, and that's what you want to do because you're giving up the inside throw. But if you can time the deflected pass there with when the ball comes, that's exactly what you're trying to get.
The Eagles secondary was embarrassed on that 90-yard touchdown play. They have redeemed themselves with a solid play since then.
Very good play since.
4th down and 4 wide receivers. 4th and 10 on the 34. And let's see whether Walter Jones moved for the Seahawks.
False start. Offense number 68. 5-yard penalty is still 4th.
We'll call it on Mike Wall, right next to Jones, the left guard. So now they're going to punt it away. 4th down and 15.
Seattle, when giving an opportunity today to get back in this game to make a big play, has self-destructed. You can see nobody is around Mike Holmgren. Nobody wants to be near him when he's in that mood right now. He's just looking for somebody to chew out.
John Ryan will be kicking. Deshaun Jackson back at the 10. You can see the disciplined game this has been for the Eagles with no penalties committed, and now they didn't have enough men on the field. Deion Grant comes on. And now we may have a delay of game penalty against.
Offense 5 yards, 4th down.
Well, this isn't the way Mike Holmgren wanted to see his last year in Seattle, and of course the injuries, losing that quarterback, a big part of it. He says, I really love the way these guys have hustled, but this has been a struggle for the 2 of 5 Seahawks.
Right now, Mike is taking it out on a special team coach here, Bruce DeHaven, because that's his job to make sure that the right personnel is on the field.
Even the coaches don't want to get near him.
No, there's a halo around him. Nobody wants to get near him.
Here's Ryan's kick, and he shanks it. And coming up is Deshaun Jackson, and the ball is knocked out of bounds. And risky. The Eagles will retain possession, but that could have been a close call if Jackson had lost it. Seahawks recovered in bounds. It would have been Seattle ball, but it's not. Eagles leading 17-7. Kurt Menefee.
Coming up on the OT postgame show, we'll recap a wild day in the NFL, including an overtime thriller in Tennessee and a sweet homecoming for Kurt Warner. Plus, a first look at the BCS standings. Did Texas Tech jump ahead of Penn State? All that and much more on the OT just as soon as you are done. But for now, back to Dick and Baldy.
All right, Kurt, thank you very much. Because Bobby Ingram will be enraged if Texas Tech is ahead of Penn State.
Wow. To not play and to lose your spot.
1st and 10 on the 24. And here's Brian Westbrook. Seahawks have done a good job keeping Brian Westbrook in check today.
Well, Westbrook is coming back from 2 major injuries. In fact, the ankle that he rolled against the Pittsburgh Steelers in the 3rd game of the season probably is still the most severe injury. Then he broke 2 ribs a couple weeks later, and that was just a nightmare trying to sleep and and live any kind of a normal life with that.
He has 42 yards rushing, 167, a career high last week. 2nd and 9. And the screen pass to Westbrook. He has a couple of blockers. He'll get the first down as he lunges past the 35-yard line. Now, the referee seems to spot it behind where I thought Westbrook was down. I think his forward progress should give him the first down there, but maybe not. We'll see.
Right on the 35, and they're moving the
Yep.
chains. Westbrook said on that last screen, he said a lot of times, everybody in the building knows I'm a marked man. They're screaming my name out. Watch Westbrook, watch Westbrook. That was one of those plays. He's still able to find enough real estate for the first down.
He's the centerpiece of this offense, no question about it, and gets the call again off the left side. But a good defensive play made by Craig Terrell, and no gain or maybe even a small loss that time.
Craig Terrell's had a good game today, coming in and rotating in at defensive tackle right now. Made a number of those tackles behind the line of scrimmage.
Craig Terrell in his 5th season. 2nd down and 11 for the Eagles, who lead by 10. It has not been a cakewalk for Philadelphia today against the 2-5 Seahawks. Ball on the 34. Westbrook to the top of your picture in motion, and McNabb going underneath to Curtis, and Curtis hit immediately at the 39 for a small gain. Remember, he hurt his left hand early in the game, and holding on to a bit now as Babineau came in to make the play.
Well, that's a valuable commodity there because he's got great hands. I mean, that last catch had a defender hanging all over him. He's got fast hands. I mean, he's a guy that when running down the sideline can just put his hands out the very last second and snatch the ball.
3rd down and 6. McNabb lofts it to Selleck, who makes the catch. And Selleck caught from behind by Babineau. A career game for Brent Selleck, called in to start at tight end, 39 yards into Seahawk territory.
Here's his matchup. Selleck is nobody in the middle of the field. Donovan sees that. It's what you call zero coverage. The safeties are out there coming. All he has to do, that's the perfect throw by Donovan. Just lay it up there, lay it over the defender's head, and let Selleck go get it.
5
Perfect
catches,
touch.
116 yards, including a 44-yarder. So Brent Selleck having a career game for the Eagles, who have a first down on the Seattle 22. Fake to Westbrook on the handoff, and here's Selleck on the screen. Selleck getting inside the 10, and Brent Selleck getting close to the 5. We'll call it the 7, and another Eagles first down.
Well, the star of the Eagles offense today has been Brent Selleck on a team that includes McNabb, Westbrook, Deshaun Jackson, Kevin Curtis coming back. It has been Brent Selleck, and how many times do we see this around the league, Dick, when there's an injury to a player, in this case L.J. Smith, concussion problems from the hit last week, a guy gets an opportunity to step up. He's enjoying that, trying to suck up a little bit of oxygen there for the next play.
Wide left is Westbrook on 1st and goal from the 7. McNabb's pass is caught at the 2 by Matt Schobel, who today is playing the role of the 2nd tight end. And it'll be 2nd and goal coming up. Selleck, who's in his 2nd year out of the University of Cincinnati, and they've always had good pass-catching tight ends at that school.
Well, you look at the Eagles, it has not been a great position for the Eagles offense to this point this year. In fact, it's been a disappointing position, but today has been a coming out party.
2nd and goal from the 2. And basket in motion. And the play fake. And here's McNabb. And McNabb's going to lose yardage as Leroy Hill. They couldn't find a receiver. Good coverage in the end zone by the Seahawks defense. First sack of the game by Seattle.
Dick, he wanted to go to Selleck, coming across, dragging across the formation. And he just couldn't pull the trigger, just couldn't find enough clearance. You see Darryl Tapp right there in his way. just couldn't find an open throwing lane. Wanted to really make him a star and a hero today. And probably a smart decision by Donovan to eat that one.
3rd and goal, this time from the 4. Westbrook in motion to the slot. And Westbrook will be tackled, and a terrific play by Josh Wilson. He kept his eye on Brian Westbrook and put him down immediately. So 4th and goal coming up. It'll be a loss of about a yard or so, and David Akers comes on.
Well, what that tackle by Josh Wilson allows Seattle to do is to stay within a 2-score range. It keeps them in the game, forcing the field goal at this point.
Akers accounting for the only scoring in the 3rd quarter with a 39-yarder. This will be a 24-yard attempt. And Akers' kick is perfect, and the Eagles now lead by 20-7. With a minute 26 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Well, the NFL on Fox next week. The Rams against the Jets, or the Seahawks at the Dolphins. 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 Pacific. Coverage will begin with the Ford Drive 1 Fox NFL Sunday pregame show beginning at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. The Eagles looking to finish the halfway mark at 5-3, and if the Giants beat the Cowboys, move into 3rd place. Still 2 games behind the Giants if they were to win. And meanwhile, the Seahawks came in 2 games behind the Arizona Cardinals, who won convincingly in St. Louis.
The passing game, you have to concede the passing game to Arizona. I mean, Kurt Warner right now looks like the guy that engineered the greatest show on turf back almost 10 years ago in St. Louis. They have problems, though. They don't run the ball well, and they don't tackle well. We've seen that show up in a couple of losses this year.
There's a scoring drive, 10 plays, 69 yards, capped by the field goal by Akers, and Donovan McNabb 6 for 6 for 71 yards on the drive. Josh Wilson back deep, and he's got some company back there at the goal line as well. Justin Forsett. And it's Forsett, the rookie from the University of California, with a head of steam, and finally brought down after he crosses the 25 by Sean Considine.
How about that at Cal? I mean, last year was Justin Forsett and Deshaun Jackson there together. Both those guys are returners. Both of them look like they're explosive players, both playing for Cal Berkeley and the Bears a year ago.
So they obviously had some good speed in that department. Here is Wallace, who is 11 for 23 for 160 yards. And the Seahawks haven't had much since that first explosion. Passes caught by Carlson, the tight end, about 6 yards on that play.
You know, when you have a young quarterback like Seneca Wallace, who has done a good job managing the game, making the couple big plays, you need help from everybody else around him. They need help from some other players. They've had some drops out there today that have not helped them. And some catches that were possibilities of being made. Kerry Colbert in the end zone can't quite make the big play to help out the young quarterback.
2nd and 3. Jones loses the ball, and Broderick Buntley there to make the play. And right now you can see the confidence in that Eagle defense, and why not, as we're reaching the end of the 3rd quarter and a solid lead for Philadelphia.
Well, here's Broderick Buntley here, and he was the 1st-round draft pick 2 years ago for the Eagles. And you can see he takes the center, Chris Spencer, backs him up, shoots his hands, extends the center, gets penetration there, throws off him, gets rid of him, disengages the blocker, and makes the tackle. And he's been a monster inside this year. One of the reasons why the run defense is the best it's been in years.
Sometimes you got to be patient waiting for a guy to deliver.
Right? And especially those young guys. It takes them sometimes a full year.
Here's the pitch to Morris on 3rd and 3, going nowhere, and will lose yardage as the 3rd quarter comes to an end. And it was Omar Gaither with the play. That's the end of the 3rd, with the Eagles leading the Seahawks 20-7.
Scoring by quarter, Seattle got the first score. Corn Robinson 90 yards, and then it was Reggie Brown and Todd Harriman's the left guard, getting 2 touchdowns in the second quarter, and then 2 field goals in the third quarter, set up by plays by the tight end, Brent Selleck, have the Eagles in front, 20-7.
4th down and 7, and John Ryan kicking, and a good kick this time will send Deshaun Jackson backpedaling. And down he goes at the 21-yard line. C.J. Wallace was there. There's Donovan McNabb coming onto the field. He is 19 of 20 since the first quarter. Red hot he's been, as the Eagles are. Back in Seattle, and the 12th man, that big crowd here, been quieted by 20 unanswered points by the Eagles, and Donovan McNabb will start his team from the 21. 3 of the scoring drives, McNabb has been perfect passing-wise. Brian Westbrook dives forward and gets a couple, stopped by Hill.
Through 3 quarters in this game today, the Eagles have taken control, especially in that third quarter. It's been the passing of Donovan McNabb. We mentioned 3 perfect drives. I mean, perfect throwing the ball. The last one, 6 for 6 on that drive. And you mentioned it, it's just streaky hot. You've seen that throughout his career, that ability just to get into that groove and stay with it.
They were out of sync early. There was no question about it.
Donovan had never played in this stadium before. Maybe it took him just a little while to get comfortable.
2nd down and 7. Play fake, pressure coming in. Mebane with the charge, and the pass is caught at the 40 by Kevin Curtis. So 20 out of 21 now since the first quarter for McNabb, and a gain of 16.
Well, he's in the zone here because on this bootleg, he's going to have pressure right up in front of his face. And look at what one of those old point guard moves at Syracuse. Just get him to bite, stay with it, and then to throw a perfect strike to Kevin Curtis.
Some of us at Syracuse would like to see him play quarterback again.
Wow. That's like the old pump fake there. Get him up in the air and then go right by him.
First down at the 40. The Eagles have scored on their last 4 drives. That's if you don't count the 1 play before half, which we're not going to do. Play fake, and McNabb has a lot of time to pick and choose. And he fires incomplete to Deshaun Jackson.
He threw a fireball there now. I mean, Deshaun was trying like crazy to get back into his vision after he scrambled. And I don't know if anybody could have caught that pass.
Deshaun Jackson, who came into the game as the leading receiver, and again, he's 20 out of 22 officially since that horrible first quarter.
Donovan said coming into today that this was, you had to have the must-gain mentality. You couldn't leave in Seattle today without a win. You needed to stay in the NFC East race.
Maybe even a convincing win at that. 2nd and 10. Westbrook trying to go outside. 1-yard gain for Westbrook, who has picked up 45 yards on 15 carries.
And he's had to earn every one of them today. Hasn't had an easy run this afternoon, although the jersey's getting worked over. The name is getting ripped off the back. They're grabbing him. There's a lot of days when Westbrook can rip off runs and you don't even lay a glove on him.
But that's the mark of a good offense. All of a sudden, Brent Selleck, the backup tight end, comes up big today.
Well, you can't concentrate just on one area. Donovan will find somebody else and get them going.
3rd and 9. And going underneath to Westbrook. He'll get the first down, and finally tripped up in Seahawk territory at the 44-yard line and picking up 17 yards.
Now they run 4 deep routes on this play. Receivers are deep down the field. It opens up things underneath for Westbrook. Everybody is so concentrated on trying to cover the deep ball. And that is a credit to the offensive line, that Donovan can stand there in the pocket for 4.5 seconds and allow that to take place.
Brian Russell made a good play on Westbrook to prevent further damage.
Seattle misses Patrick Kearney today.
Terrell Buckhalter now in the game and running back. Play fake to him, and the pass is caught by Greg Lewis. Does not get out of bounds in short of the first down by 1.5 yards.
That throw looked like practice for Donovan. He can't rifle a ball to the sidelines any faster. Getting everybody involved. one of those plays where everybody wants to get on the field.
Now the extra tight end Schobel comes in along with Dan Klecko, the fullback. So you're thinking a power group at the line of scrimmage.
Well, Klecko is the new fullback.
And a great job he's done. And they go to Buckhalter. And Carell Buckhalter trying to get the first down and may have it.
You know, Dick, we mentioned today, obviously, Brent Selleck having a career day, Greg Lewis catching a pass, and for so long this year, it's been the Eagles need a receiver. The Eagles need a receiver. And talking to Donovan the other day, it's a little bit like what the Phillies went through. You know, they didn't like Charlie Manuel, and Ryan Howard struck out too much, and Jimmy Rollins didn't like the fans, you know, and then they won it. They won it all. And to Donovan, it was like, you know what, it's just about winning here. It's not about needing any other players, any more help. We've got enough here to win it. It's up to us just to execute better.
First down on the 32 of the Seahawks. Westbrook checked back in, going out as a receiver, and the pass incomplete. Westbrook may have been the intended receiver there. Basically what you're talking about is what everyone knows about the Philadelphia fans, some of the greatest in America, and they can be critical.
Yeah.
They can be harsh, and all they want you to do is win. And so they love the Phillies right now. And if the Eagles climb the ladder in the NFC East, well, we know they love them anyway. They'll love them even more.
Well, I think a lot of the Eagles were upset that they couldn't end the drought of championships in Philly, that they could have been the team that was hosting the parade down Broad Street.
Second down and 10. And going deep for Deshaun Jackson, and the pass is thrown out of bounds. Good coverage by Marcus Trufant, and a third down coming up.
Just watching the salty veteran John Runyon down there. He's got a rookie or a second-year player, Baraka Atkins, who's taken the place in part because of Patrick Kearney's injury, and he's schooling him down there during this drive. Baraka has not played a lot of football, getting extensive time today, and Runyon is building a wall in front of him, not allowing him near the arm of Donovan McNabb.
Hey, they don't have Patrick Kearney, and they don't have Lofa Tatupu. That's like one hand tied behind your back for the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Against a tough offense. Third down and 10. And this pass is thrown to Brian Westbrook, and he's tackled short of the first down as he gets to the 23. Kelly Jennings making the first down saving stop, so David Akers enters. Akers has kicked 2 field goals in the second half and will look to extend the Philadelphia lead. Successful from 39, 24 yards, and now this will be a 42-yard try. And Akers' kick is good, and the Eagles open up a 23-7 advantage. The Eagles have now scored 23 unanswered points after the Seahawks took a 7-0 lead on their first offensive play. And Seneca Wallace hit Corin Robinson for a 90-yard touchdown. There is the scoring drive, 55 yards in 11 plays. McNabb with 2 touchdown passes and Akers with 3 field goals has been the difference. And it's so tough when you lose your starting quarterback. And I go back to the Carolina Panthers of last year when they lost Jake Delhomme, and that team crumbled. And now you lose Matt Hasselbeck, and they don't know when he'll be back. And you just can't win and keep pace without your top guy.
Seneca Wallace is getting on-the-job training as a starting quarterback.
Justin Forsett on the return, had a blocker there and made good use of him as he is tackled right short of the 35-yard line. Timeout. We'll be back to Seattle after this. Let's take a closer look at the Seattle Seahawks in the 4 non-divisional games this year in particular.
Well, they've only been able to score 11 points a game. They haven't won a game. Eagles would fall into that category against the NFC West, specifically St. Louis and San Francisco. They played much better.
First down at the 34. Seneca Wallace with a deep drop this time. And here's the tight end, Carlson, who's defended by Quentin Michael. Pass not long enough, so it'll be second down.
It's been a good day for the secondary of the Eagles after the first play debacle on the long touchdown throw. But this is great coverage here by Quentin Michael. You can see that once you locate the ball as a defensive back, forget about the man. Go make the play on the ball. And it used to be that I thought defensive backs, most guys played baseball, and they were used to seeing the ball off the bat, and they could track the ball. Guys got to get better at that.
Seneca Wallace can't get away from all of the on-rushing Eagles, and there is Omar Gaither with the first sack of the game for the Eagles. You would have thought Seneca Wallace would be under siege throughout the afternoon. First sack.
Well, it's Trent Cole that makes Seneca Wallace step up here as he turns the corner against Walter Jones. Just never stopped working. That forced him to step up and into the arms of Omar Gaither, who was just kind of hovering at the line of scrimmage.
Loss of 8, third down and 18. Back to the 27 of the Seahawks. Here comes the pressure. Quentin Michael on the run, and the pass incomplete. Off the hands of Corin Robinson, and fourth down coming up. So after that opening touchdown, the Eagle defense have forced the Seattle Seahawks into 10 consecutive punts.
They've been smothering. In fact, the Eagles defense, outside of maybe the loss to Washington and maybe the Monday night game to Dallas, has played excellent all season. This might be their best overall performance, even considering a shutout of St. Louis the first week of the season.
John Ryan kicking to Deshaun Jackson. Gets off a beauty. From the 19. Jackson will be ridden out of bounds by Babineau. Donovan McNabb getting set to go back in. The Eagles up 23-7 with 8:24 remaining in the fourth quarter, and the Eagles will start this drive from the 33. Donovan McNabb with 2 touchdown passes, and in the second half 3 field goals by Akers, accounting for the scoring. Here's Westbrook brings it out to the 40-yard line, and the Eagles are getting, it seems, what they wanted here was to come west. They got the Giants next week, and to not let the upset happen.
Well, I mean, they've got a lot of poise. I mean, they gave up the big play. They struggled in the first quarter to find the rhythm. But once they did, they really took control of this football game. And it sets up a big week next week in Philadelphia with the Giants, the division-leading Giants, coming to town.
And, of course, the Giants, after having played Pittsburgh, beating them on the road, Dallas, team they're leading, then the Eagles, and it doesn't get easy for the Giants either, does it?
That's a tough stretch for anybody, but they're getting tested.
Second and short, and the pass is caught by Curtis as the defender fell down. A flag is down at the 45-yard line. Josh Wilson looked like he had slipped. A 16-yard gain pending the call. Mike Carey checking it out.
Dick, when Donovan is playing like this, the Eagles have more than enough weapons to compete in the NFC East, to beat the Giants, and to get to the playoffs. No question about it.
Illegal contact. Defense number 26 is declined. The play results first down.
16 yards. First down.
And Kevin Curtis working against Josh Wilson. A little stutter move. I tell you what, Josh Wilson didn't know what he was doing. He stuttered, he tripped, he fell, got up, spun around. That's taking a young corner to school. And they've struggled at the right corner position all season.
Curtis, who came back and caught 3 passes last week, has 5 receptions for 69 yards today. There he is. Left hand was hit earlier. First down at the 43 of the Seahawks, and here's Westbrook. And he gets to the 39. Pick up a 4.
If you look at the NFC East, I've never seen a division that has been this dominant around the league. If you look at just the rankings, the offensive and defensive rankings, all 4 teams in the top 10 on both sides of the ball. There's not a weak team in this division. I think you'll see a lot of these teams knocking each other off before the end of the season.
And if when there's a crack in the armor, as we've seen from the Dallas Cowboys lately, plus Romo's injury, you're in trouble. There's the screen to Kevin Curtis, first down, hurdling a defender, and Curtis getting down to the 27-yard line. He is down there, 13 more yards.
Another example today of watching Kevin Curtis in this little wide receiver hitch screen. Gets 4 blockers out front, including Todd Harriman's and Jamal Jackson, but you're seeing the explosive play from Kevin Curtis, last year's leading receiver for the Eagles, and looking like he's back healthy now.
Here's Westbrook cutting up the middle and getting to the 20-yard line. And you were talking about how healthy this receiving core has gotten. Reggie Brown returning today, so we have under 6 minutes to go. 2nd and 4 coming up.
I'm looking at Brian Westbrook here with this game, I think, in the balance. You got to start thinking about getting him out of the game because he's just too valuable. He's still coming back from the broken ribs. Right now, you're going to need him for the second half push, as healthy as he can possibly be. Anytime you could take any of the hits off him at the end of the game like this, I think you got to think about it.
Good point. 2nd and 4. Now he gets the carry here and does not get much. You know, taking a look at the NFC West, the Arizona Cardinals with a huge win today because they could move 3 games in front of the rest of the division, because the Seahawks would drop to 2-6, Cardinals 2-6, and the 49ers with the bye week 2-6. So when was the last time the St. Louis Rams and when was the last time that Arizona was in such a lofty position?
I mean, you got to go and check the history books. I know this. They can't win on the East Coast. They're 0 for 3 this year, losing to the Carolina Panthers, the New York Jets, and the Washington Redskins, and got to face the Eagles on Thanksgiving night.
And a timeout called by the Eagles. 4:43 remaining in the 4th quarter. Well, Fox's football coverage doesn't end when the games are over. Afterwards, stick around for the OT, where Kurt, Terry, Michael, and Jimmy will bring you exclusive interviews, extended highlights, and reveal the new BCS standings. A major shakeup in the BCS. And the OT will have it, presented by Lowe's, coming up right after the game, only on Fox. And we heard Kurt Menefee said, did Texas Tech vault over Penn State?
Well, where they lie next to Alabama, who's still undefeated. Penn State off yesterday. 3 games remaining on their schedule.
And they have a good schedule to finish undefeated, I would say. And what about the sentiment for Joe Paterno?
Oh, I think that's strong. I think that's very strong. At his age, up in the booth right now, looks like he's still got one more. And we talked to Bobby Ingram about him. He said that when he was recruited there, he was wondering whether he would make it through his term. And now every recruit that goes there, he's like, I'll be here for 5 more years.
You think Joe Paterno wants to become a broadcaster? I mean, he keeps going up in that booth. Third,
he probably has some insight.
3rd down and 5 after the timeout by the Eagles. Here's McNabb's pass. It's incomplete. Intended for Greg Lewis. So David Akers going to try to make it 4 for 4 as he enters the game. Field goal attempt coming up. Talked about the Eagles. They have the Giants next week, but 3 of their final 4 games are against NFC East foes. You get the feeling we're not going to know until late December.
When the snow is falling.
39-yard field goal attempt by Akers. And the kick is good. So David Akers with 4 second-half field goals. And the Eagles in front 26-7. Again, we can't see this enough. I think football fans looking at Texas Tech, they had a 19-point lead, squandered, and then won at the end.
Well, no surprise with the game taking place in Lubbock. It was an old-fashioned Texas shootout all the way to the final second. And how about that scene at the end there in Red Raider Nation?
And you gotta love Seahawks fans who they must get up about 5 or 6 in the morning.
Well, they're so honored here. They're the only team in the league that has a flag dedicated to them. They fly the 12th man flag. They honor them at their new facility at the stadium here. They have a ceremony before every game, and so even when a team is struggling as they are this year, in Mike Holmgren's final year, they still come out to support him.
Akers will kick off, and Wilson and Forsett back for the Seahawks. Josh Wilson returning for Seattle and does not get to the 25-yard line.
Seneca has been on the run today. He's been under this kind of pressure. Eagles have not sacked him a lot, but outside of the first play of the game, they has made him run for cover, using all of his athletic ability just to escape a fierce rush all afternoon.
Well, it might have been worse when you consider what Jim Johnson has done to other quarterbacks. And there you see 12 for 26, 167 yards, 1 touchdown. And amazing thing is the Seahawks have not turned the ball over against the Eagles. Wallace trying to hold on to it. And he does. Jaquay Parker closes in on him. That is the second Eagles sack of Wallace and a loss of 4.
And this is just a time when defensive linemen can just put their sprinter stance down and tee off and forget about rush lanes. Just get after Wallace here.
And here is Julius Jones on the quick opener. He gets a first down out to the 35-yard line. Bradley downfield. Pretty good running play. No huddle here. That was a 14-yard pickup. They'll mark the ball at the 35, first down. Here's Jones again, and another good run and another first down. So Julius Jones on successive rushes gets 25 yards and a first down out to the 46. Seahawks have gained 84 yards on the ground. Wallace with time, and Corin Robinson defended by Sheldon Brown. And right now let's go down to the field to Laura Okmin.
You guys were talking earlier about the Phillies, and I want to tell you about Darren Howard, who was the biggest Ryan Howard fan, but it's really got nothing to do with baseball. This offseason, Darren was dropping a friend off at the airport. He got pulled over by a police officer who he said wasn't too chatty. He said license and registration, that was it. He goes to the car, comes back, Darren's waiting, and he hands him his license, and he says, "You're going to hit 70 home runs this season?" Which Darren said, "Yes, sir, I am." So he may not be Ryan Howard, but he's not stupid. He got out of a ticket.
Incomplete to Corin Robinson.
Play along.
Yes, they're all fans,
along,
right?
Huh? Yeah.
Phillies
Mistaken
fans
identity.
come in all sizes and shapes and occupations.
Well, I'd imagine that Ryan Howard is enjoying himself about as much as anybody possibly can, wherever he'd be right now. That parade went right by the Eagles facility off Broad Street the other day. Andy Reid got a look at him from his office, thinking maybe one day I can help have one of those parades.
Well, last week took 2 of his sons over across the street to the World Series. He was as big a fan as anyone in Philadelphia. 3rd down and 10. And down goes Seneca Wallace. Didn't have a chance to really get his target. And Darren Howard coming up to make the play.
That's Darren Howard. I mean, you must have heard us talking about. Watch him beat the snap here of Chris Spencer. I mean, gets right into that gap. That's rare that happens in the league, especially on the road.
That is the 3rd sack of the game for the Eagles, who have cause to celebrate on the sideline. Jim Johnson congratulating Howard. And now the 11th punt of the game. One shy of the team record by John Ryan. And Deshaun Jackson will let it bounce. And the Seahawks will down it at about the 3. 2:27 remaining in the 4th quarter. Eagles up 26-7. Donovan McNabb, after a slow start, winds up. Then he's not finished. 2 touchdowns, 349 yards, a career game for Brent Selleck, the tight end. No penalties on the Philadelphia Eagles. And Wallace with a touchdown pass for the Seahawks. Robinson, the 90-yard catch to start it off. And Seattle, nothing but punts since that first TD.
Incredible, impressive performance from the standpoint of no penalties, especially on the road at this stadium where they pride themselves with the 12th man. And that is usually what happens. Teams create a lot of penalties, offsides, flinches. None of that happened from a very veteran and poised offensive line.
Well, you were right. Westbrook is out, and Lorenzo Booker, number 25, has come in at tailback and gets the carry and gets knocked back. So second down coming up. And winding down to the 2-minute warning.
A couple starting defensive ends in that picture, Trent Cole and Jaquay Parker, having a very good afternoon.
And we're down to the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes remain in this game in Seattle with the Eagles way in front, 26-7. Back here in Seattle with 2 minutes remaining in the game, and the Eagles leading the Seahawks 26-7. A great start for the Seahawks, spectacular, with the 90-yard pass play for the touchdown, and it's been downhill since then. Lorenzo Booker, the tailback. Second down and 10. And Booker is stopped after about a yard or two.
This is the Eagles passing game today. Balls thrown by Donovan McNabb over 20 yards down the field. They are an attacking offense today. 3 for 6 throwing the ball 20 yards down the field. None of them really big, but it's part of what the Eagles want to do. They want to attack you, get you spread out, and open up things underneath for Brian Westbrook.
After the first quarter, the Eagles regained their footing, took control, and never looked back against a team that had won 4 consecutive division titles, but injuries have really decimated this team. Here is Lorenzo Booker, and nothing there. And welcome those who saw the Giants beat the Cowboys 35-14. This is the final minute of an Eagle victory over the Seattle Seahawks, 26-7. 4th down, and Sav Rocca will be punting. Seahawks scored on the opening play for them, a 90-yard touchdown pass. They punted ever since, and the Eagles took control, not committing a penalty here, as Justin Forsett on the return and going out of bounds. The Eagles will go to 5-3 and pass the Dallas Cowboys in the NFC East into 3rd place. Dick Stockton with Brian Baldinger and Laura Okmin in the final minutes. Donovan McNabb was 3 for 13 in the first quarter, and did he ever recover? Threw 2 touchdown passes. And the tight end Brent Selleck playing for the injured L.J. Smith, a career game for him. Mentioned the no penalties. And Seneca Wallace, no mistakes by Seattle, but Wallace just couldn't be up to the task against this Philadelphia team.
No, not against this defense today. And also not on that summary is the touchdown by the left guard Todd Hermans today, who will be celebrated and feted, I'm sure, on that cross-country trip on the way home.
And here's Seneca Wallace trying to find somebody, and then goes out of bounds. This is a Seattle team that have been, flag is down.
Seneca Wallace today under typical Eagle pressure, flipping the ball away, forced to step up. Not a lot of places to go to.
Roughness, horse collar, 15 yards, automatic, 1st down.
So Stuart Bradley called for unnecessary roughness on Wallace going out of bounds, and so they'll mark 15 yards off.
This is the horse collar penalty by Stuart Bradley. You don't actually have to get the hand inside the pad, but I thought all he had was the jersey. That's the way they saw it. They were going to say that it was one continuous move as Stewart brought him down out of bounds, and trying to eliminate injuries on that type of play.
Brian Westbrook with 61 yards and 20 carries. Wallace going underneath and holding on to it is the rookie fullback Owen Schmidt. That'll be the last play of the game. The Eagles will go to 5-3 and move into third place in the division, and a timeout called by the Seahawks. That's their third and final timeout. And with the Seahawks, they're now 2-6 and 3 games behind Arizona. Today's game produced by Bob Stenner and directed by Sandy Grossman, the associate director Charles McDonald, the broadcast associate Mark Schaefer, the technical producer Bob Mueller, the technical director Rick Tugman, the tape supervisor Michael Nathanson, the audio supervisor Pat Lucatordo, studio produced by Scott Ackerson and directed by Bob Levy, the associate director in the studio Stephanie Medina, the highlight coordinator Janice Kazaza, studio technical supervisor Jack Simmons, the supervisor of remote field operations Jerry Steinberg, the senior producer is Bill Brown, and the executive producers of Fox Sports are Ed Gorin and David Hill. So there's the updated NFC East standings. Still one play left barring a penalty, and Seneca Wallace goes down, and that is an emphatic end as Chris Clemens gets the sack to end the game. And that is the 4th sack for the Eagles, who win it by a score of 26-7. Victory number 101 for Andy Reid, including playoffs. That's the story here in Seattle. We'll be back with more after these messages. The Eagles beat the Seahawks 26-7, and now for the UPS leaderboard. McNabb, Westbrook, Brent Selleck having the career game. UPS, what can Brown do for you? For your chance to win a tour of the Fox Sports studio, go to www.foxsports.com/UPS. So this is Dick Stockton for Brian Baldinger and Laura Okmin saying so long from Seattle. Once again, the final score, 26-7, the Eagles over the Seahawks. Stay tuned to Fox Sports for the OT show presented by Lowe's right after these messages.